Hello and welcome to the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 271. I am your host, Daniel. It's going to be a very different episode. There's no Connor, no Sims, no video, just me and a microphone. How does Connor usually start this? He starts rambling most of the time. But there's some news, not a ton, but we got a lot of details about Marathon finally, and more information about Mario Kart. So let's just hop right into it. It's been another busy week in the world of video games, as Connor likes to say. Let's start with Marathon. Yeah, so last Saturday, they had a little stream, which I thought was very weird. They started off, it seemed like a a post E3, we're going to sit down and talk about the game type of vibe. Didn't really like that, but did watch all the trailers and the cinematic trailers. We finally got a date for it, which I did not expect here, which is going to come out in September 23rd with a closed alpha really soon, this week actually, April 23rd. They'll probably end up doing a open beta at some point in the summertime before the game comes out. But yeah, so we actually get to see Marathon. It looks very interesting. I don't know if it's for me, as much of a Bungie fan as I am. The gameplay looks really great. Not as dynamic as I think some gameplay from at least Destiny is. It's definitely a little more dynamic than Halo. Not crazy about the extraction part. It seems a little different than I think people are used to with like Tarkov. It seems like Bungie's trying to consoleify another genre like they did with MMOs and in Destiny. So that might be good for them. The game is not free to play, which I think is also another choice. Seems like it's going to be not quite premium, but not free to play. So that tells me maybe somewhere between the lowest end $20, maybe $40. I would guess $40. There's not a lot of content, I think, to charge $40 for my opinion. I think they said they're starting with 6 runners, 3 maps, and it's a 3v3. So that doesn't seem like a lot of content, but Bungie seems fairly confident that they can uphold the amount of content that's needed. We'll see though. I think that Concord thought it could do that too. Clearly not. But I do want to talk about is the art style. Looks great. Looks fantastic. Me and Connor were praising it last week. I think it still looks great, especially in motion. The cinematic trailer was very weird, very Love, Death, and Robots, if you've seen that show on Netflix. Got that vibe. I forget which episode there was, but there was an episode of Love, Death, and Robots where this like weird jeweled lady is like killing soldiers, and it reminded me of that one a lot. It shows off some of the runners in there. It's interesting they're going with like still class based. Seems like there's your kind of typical more damage dealer, more support, and then more of a tankier type of character. I think that people aren't really used to that from these type of extraction shooters. I think people are used to more just kind of grab and go type shooters. Didn't get a ton of music. I wanted way more music than they showed because I'm a big music head and Bungie's music is some of the best in the industry. And I was surprised that they didn't really like show off that, but there's still plenty of time. It seems like this game's still very early for still coming out. I guess that's why they're trying to get this alpha out there and eventually a beta too. But it looks great. I'm curious when it lands. Are people still going to play this? They're going to choose to play this in in the fall, because Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 4 is coming out that same month. I wonder if people are going to choose that. It's getting closer to GTA. Maybe at this point, we'd probably know when GTA's date's going to be. So people definitely going to save for that game. I don't know if they're going to want to play Marathon over that. So Bungie's going to be kind of releasing a game in a weird time. Call of Duty's going to be out there. Battlefield might be releasing in the fall too. A lot of FPS competition in the fall. But Bungie's the best in the biz when it comes to shooter feel. Maybe only second to Call of Duty, depending on if you like Call of Duty more. I think Bungie still feels a little bit better, but Call of Duty's right there. But yeah, I'm very excited for Marathon. I don't know if I'm going to play it day one, but I'll have to see as the betas go on. And if they add more content, if they feel like rewarding, I hope the battle pass that they're going to implement with all the cosmetics is not too overbearing and too like wanting you to play so much. I hope that you kind of a little more casual of rewards. I'm not into these type of battle pass games. But moving on, as of just a couple of hours, we got another Mario Kart Direct for Mario Kart World. They do show off a good amount. They didn't really need to do this. I feel like after all of the previews and the Switch 2 Direct, I think we've seen a lot of this game. I don't really think these last few months needed another entire Direct. But they did. And they showed off 4 complete Grand Prix. It was the Mushroom Cup, the Flower Cup, the Star Cup, and the Green Shell Cup, I think is the 4 that they showed. And it doesn't seem like there's a way to, at least as of now, to do a cup that expands all different parts of the map. It seems like all these cups are tied to sections of the map, which is an interesting choice. Maybe they'll give you a Grand Prix mode where you can actually pick and choose your whatever races you want, like other Mario Karts. I hope they don't just lock it out. What else did they show? They showed more free roam. They showed more things you could do in the free roam. You get the P buttons. It seems like there's little POW question marks out there. You can eat food and get more costumes for your racers, which is interesting. I wonder if that's like the only way you can unlock them, or can you unlock them by just racing? Are they going to make you use the free roam mode? Yeah, they show off like hidden coins. I wonder how that works with the 4-player free roam. If it's all on your save, if you have 4 people in there and you can have everyone helping you, maybe in different parts of the map. I'm curious about that. They didn't really talk about that. They did show off a couple more modes. They show off the classic balloon battle. They showed the coin run one, which I think the coin run was introduced in Mario Kart DS, which is a very fun one. I always liked that one growing up. What else did they show? They showed the camera mode. They actually have a full camera mode. You can't just only take pictures. You can have pictures of everyone in your free roam. They show I think 8 people. I wonder if it go up to 24 in free roam, because that would be very fun. They show off some new characters that were not previously shown. They show a penguin, a crab, one of those weird long neck birds. They show the Goomba again and the cow again. And they show some more costumes. They show some new items. They showed off a ice flower that you can freeze and slow people. They showed a feather that allows you to stock up an extra jump to avoid items, or to even find shortcuts and things like that. That feather seems right up my alley. I'm definitely going to be trying to break the game with a feather. They also showed a mega mushroom, allows you to just get huge and then crush people. And they show the last one they showed was Kamek, and they were very vague about what Kamek really does. I don't know why. I guess they just wanted to be a surprise or something. They show Kamek like cloning one racer like 10 times or something. So it just seems like a chaotic power up whenever you get it. Then they did show a gold shell as well that you just follow and you just rack up a bunch of coins. I think that's kind of a useless one, but hey, I guess they just want to try adding new items. People have been playing the same items from Mario Kart 8 for 10 years, so they wanted to change it up some. But the game seems great. They're definitely adding a lot to this game. I think they're really trying to push that this game is worth the $80 instead of just buying Mario Kart 8 for $60 and then playing it on your Switch too. Yeah, very excited. Definitely going to be one of my favorite games this year for sure. If and when I get a Switch, especially here in the US. And last news story for the week is we finally got a name confirmation and a date for when they'll show the new Star Wars tactical turn-based RPG, whatever they're calling it. It's going to be called Star Wars Zero Company. It's being made by Bit Reactor and Respawn. They're going to show off the game at Star Wars Celebration, which is happening this weekend. By the time you're hearing this, you might already have seen this game. I've gotten some leaked images. Seems very XCOM, turn-based. Going to be probably character-based, is from what the image shows. So maybe no classes, but each character will probably feel different. So it might be maybe a little bit more like Gears or something, the Gears of War Tactics. But I am very excited for that. I always like XCOM. I think we need more XCOM-like games. Really only have a couple handfuls of those type of games. I think one of the more interesting ones is the Mario and Rabbids. It definitely tries to family-friendly that type of combat, and I think we should get more games in that type of combat. So I'm curious if this game will release this year. I think it's a little too jam-packed. I don't think EA needs this game to come out this year. I think they could probably hold off and wait until early next year, maybe springtime, maybe this time next year. I think would be a good time for Star Wars to come out, maybe May next year. This year's too jam-packed, and we don't really know a lot of next year. I don't think you want to put this game out in the fall and have it get buried like Marvel Midnight Suns did when that came out. And that was a less busy year. It's just a niche genre, even for Star Wars, to kind of put it out in a busy time. But very excited to see it this weekend. We will talk about it more next week for sure. And I guess move on to what I've been playing. I finally have beaten Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which I still hate that name. I don't know why they made it so long. They could have just said Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza Pirate game. I think that would have been a better name. But it is a great game. I think more people need to check this game out. It's very goofy, very silly. Even for a series that is very goofy and very silly. Just having Majima be a pirate is great. The story is very Like a Dragon. It's very plot twisty, and people are betraying each other all the time, and they can easily get away with that in a pirate game where people are going after treasure. It's very heartfelt. The combat, like I said a few weeks ago, the combat is still the best brawler combat in the series. Majima feels so good. Giving him a jump button feels so good. He has so many tools in the combat, more than Kiryu or even the guy from Judgment. He has a grappling hook, a gun. His 2 swords feel really good. He only has 2 stances. I kind of wish they'd give him more stances. Maybe they'll try to do more with him. No spoilers, but at the end of the game, it seems like they're setting up him for at least another game, or maybe this game was dipping their toes into what the audience would want from a protagonist, and maybe if they'd be accepting of Majima being a protagonist with not having Kiryu be a big part in the future. It seems like maybe he's won't be dead, but not really an active combat ready character, and they'll just kind of stick with Majima and Kasuga, which I'm fine with. Majima has been one of my favorite characters in the whole series, and getting more of him is always great. He's a very awesome character. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all I've been playing this week. I'm definitely going to check out Blueprints, which I know Connor said he was going to check out. Very excited for that. It seems like people that like puzzle games really like Blueprints, so I'm excited to check that game out. I want to check out Lush Foil Photography Sim. It's a very cheap game. I looked, and it's only $15. But the game looks beautiful. I forget where it was shown off. I think it was at a PlayStation State of Play. Very gorgeous. You just take pictures, and it seems like you go all across the world. In these like Unreal Engine 5, beautifully gorgeous and realized world with like a DSLR, like a realistic DSLR camera. I don't know exactly what your goal is, if you're taking one picture in each of these spots and then you move on, or you actually like traveling in these locations. I haven't really looked too much into the gameplay. I kind of wanted to hop into this one blind a little. So yeah, I'm curious to check that one out. Definitely talk about it next week. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it until Claire Obscura maybe I might check out. I still want to play Monster Hunter Wilds, which I have downloaded, but I haven't been able to check it out yet. And Doom comes out in like a little over a month, so definitely playing Doom. But I think right now that's kind of the handful of games I'm looking to check out. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious. Curious if I'll be able to get a Switch and be able to play Mario Kart in like a couple months right after Doom. I don't know if that's going to be possible if it's $700. We will see though. And with that, that's going to be it for the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 271. Thank you for listening. If you could like and subscribe, check us out on audio platforms, go to YouTube, give us some views, leave a comment. You leave a comment, I'll talk to you. Yeah. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.